I used to think houses break with noise, with doors slammed and dishes shattered. Turns out, some houses break in silence. That morning, I left home 20 minutes early. I told Maya I had a meeting. Truth is, I just needed quiet. Our city wakes up slow, like it's afraid of what the day might say. I walked past the florist, the newspaper stand, the cafe where they know my name. Married 2 years. We learned the choreography. Good mornings, packed lunches, check-ins that sounded like love and sometimes were. Rehan had joined us 3 months earlier. He was quiet, efficient, and grateful for work. Maya said the house finally breathed with help around. At first, I liked the calm he brought. Less clutter. Fewer arguments about dishes and dust. But peace can hide a storm if you don't listen closely. Maya had a laugh that used to belong to us. Lately, I heard it from another room. I told myself walls echo. I reached the office early, opened my laptop, and watched a cursor blink like a heartbeat I couldn't match. At 9:07, a message from Maya. Don't forget the groceries. Rehan can help bring them up. My chest tightened for no rational reason. I typed sure and deleted it. Typed OK and deleted that too. Sent a thumbs up. Silence is easier when you're afraid of the answers. By noon, the sky turned silver. I told my boss I'd left a file at home. He said, "Go." I think he heard what I didn't say. On the way back, the florist wrapped lilies in brown paper. "For your wife?" she asked. I nodded and lied. Our elevator has a mirror that adds a year to your face. Today, it added 5. I unlocked the door lightly, like my own home could spook. The apartment smelled like lemon cleaner and fresh coffee. From the kitchen, I heard low voices. Maya's soft, Rehan's careful. Nothing wrong. Everything wrong. "Arman," she called. I hid the lilies behind my back like a child with a secret he doesn't understand. "I forgot a file," I said. My voice sounded rented. Rehan nodded, eyes down. On the counter, 2 mugs, 1 lipstick stain not mine. On the chair, her cardigan, the soft one I bought when winter first bit. "Do you want coffee?" Maya asked. My mouth said, no. My heartbeat said, "Why are you asking like you owe me change?" "We were just sorting the pantry," she added quickly. Rehan stood straighter, like being honest required posture. I placed the lilies on the table. Flowers look brave until you need them to speak. "Nice," Maya said, almost surprised. She used to know my timing. Now it felt like I had arrived at a stranger's hour. I found the forgotten file in my bag. It had been there all along. Proof that sometimes we don't come home for papers. We come home for truth. "Don't be late," Maya said as I moved to leave. "Dinner at 7. It sounded like a schedule, like love was a meeting we could postpone. Rehan gave a small nod. He looked like a boy caught in grown-up weather. I wished the storm would pass all of us by. In the elevator down, I finally named the feeling. Not jealousy. Not anger. A kind of quiet. Breaking. I didn't know it yet, but by dinner, our house would be a map of places we couldn't return to. I spent the rest of the afternoon pretending to work. Emails blurred together, and every clock tick sounded like a countdown. At 6:40, I drove back slower than usual, like giving fate a head start. When I stepped inside, dinner was ready. Stew simmering, bread sliced, table set for 3. Rehan stood quickly. "Mr. Arman, I was just about to leave," he said. Maya glanced at him like words had to be measured. "Stay," I heard myself say. Even my voice sounded foreign. Dinner was quiet except for the clink of spoons. Every sound felt magnified, ceramic, breathing, heartbeat. Halfway through, Maya reached for the salt. I noticed her hand tremble. Rehan excused himself early, bowing slightly. His footsteps down the hallway were too light, too quick. When the door clicked shut, I asked, "How was your day?" It came out like a challenge. She talked about groceries, the laundry, a neighbor's cat. Words carefully chosen, like walking barefoot on glass. I wanted to believe her. But belief is heavy when trust has cracks. After dinner, I offered to wash the dishes. She said no, she and Rehan had done most of it earlier. I nodded, smiled, and went to my study. But instead of working, I just sat there, listening to a silence that felt rehearsed. At 9 o'clock, I heard her on the phone. Soft voice, almost whisper. She laughed once. Not the laugh that used to belong to us. This one was careful. I could have stormed in. But some wars you win by staying still. When she went to bed, I stayed awake. Watched ceiling shadows until dawn. Next morning, I left without breakfast. I told myself I was busy. Truth was, I didn't want to hear her voice before I was ready. At work, my colleague asked if everything was okay. I said yes. It's easier to lie to strangers than to yourself. That night, I came home earlier than usual. Rehan's shoes were at the door. I shouldn't have noticed, but I did. From the hallway, I heard clinking dishes and two voices. No laughter this time, just low conversation. I stepped inside quietly. The air felt heavy, like even the house was holding its breath. Maya turned first. Her eyes widened for a fraction before she masked it. Rehan just froze. "Back early," she said. It sounded less like a welcome, more like a verdict. I nodded once and hung my jacket. My heart was loud, but my face stayed still. Because storms don't always start with thunder. Sometimes they start with quiet. After dinner, Maya started clearing the table. Rehan moved to help, but I spoke first. "Sit down. Both of you." The air shifted. Maya slowly sat across from me, Rehan on the edge of his chair. No one spoke. "I don't like guessing games," I said. Maya's lips parted, but no words came. Rehan's hands were clasped so tight his knuckles whitened. "You two have been spending a lot of time together." It wasn't a question. "We were just," Maya started, but I raised a hand. "Don't explain. Not yet. Just answer me this. Do you still want this marriage?" Her eyes filled, then hardened. "Yes," she whispered, like saying no would make the walls collapse. I nodded slowly. "Then it stops. Whatever this is, it stops tonight." Rehan stood immediately, bowed slightly. "I'm sorry, sir. I'll find another job." Maya's face twisted. "Arman, you can't just fire him like this." "Then quit for him," I said quietly. She froze. The room was silent except for the clock ticking like a metronome for endings. Finally, she sat back down and covered her face. Her shoulders shook. Not with guilt, at least not just guilt, but with the weight of something breaking. That night, I slept on the couch. Maya cried softly behind the bedroom door. We were two people under one roof, separated by a wall of choice. In the morning, I packed a bag. She watched from the doorway, eyes red. "You're leaving?" "Yes." "For a while." "Arman, I didn't." "You did enough," I said. Some sentences are so heavy they end chapters by themselves. I walked out without looking back. The lilies from 2 days ago had already wilted. Days turned into weeks. She texted, called, left voicemails I didn't open. Each one sounded more desperate in my imagination. Rehan sent one message. "I'm sorry, sir. Thank you for everything." I never replied. 3 months later, I signed a lease across town. A small place. Quiet. No echoes except the ones I made. Maya showed up once, flowers in hand. I didn't open the door. Through the peephole, I saw her cry until the petals fell. I turned away and let the hallway stay quiet. Because sometimes forgiveness is just another way to stay trapped. 6 months later, I met someone new. Someone who didn't make me guess where I stood. Love can be quiet too, but not the kind that drowns you. On the anniversary of the day everything broke, Maya sent one last message. "I'm sorry. I hope you're happy." I didn't reply. But for the first time, I smiled. Because happiness isn't about who stays. It's about who you finally choose to become.